So, first of all, a very good morning to one and all. And let me begin by expressing my gratitude to Dr. Umesh, his team, Narmada Kidney Foundation, the collaborating partners, and all the other academic partners to have given this privilege to the Indian Diabetic Association to be the academic partner for this conference. IDA has a history that IDA has collaborated with SRN MCON for past many, many years. And I think it is this bond, of course, which has been very, very strongly facilitated by none other than our own dear Zamrud, who made it a point that, the interface between the nutritionist, dietitians, and the nephrologist, physicians, the medical fraternity, which connects with the renal patients, is bridged. And I congratulate everyone who is got associated with this pre-conference workshop. I think, friends, it's a day to celebrate the strength of Indian Dietetic Association, because the strength is the reach of the association, uh, because it's a national association and it has a pan-India presence in 25 states. So that speaks of the richness of the association, and that is why we are so confident to host this pre-conference on working on regional menus. I congratulate the special interest group on renal nutrition, which was coined last year by the Indian Diabetic Association. We have leads from every state of this country, and I'm proud of them. And I am extremely thankful to the chairperson of Research, Education, and Training Committee, Dr. Geeta Dharmati, who has taken this baton of taking all these special interest groups forward. So, with this kind of a backdrop, friends, I'm here to set the context and make a conversation with you, and not really going to make a presentation. So, when we speak of chronic kidney disease, to my mind, if I look at the entire canvas of kidney disease, this is one section of kidney disease wherein nutrition intervention becomes extremely important and is very, very significant. And why do I say that? Because we all know that CKD, chronic kidney disease, is a progressive disease. Okay, so the moment you enter into CKD, you are in a stage which is not reversible. It is going to progress further. And in an Indian scenario, the whole slant of the dietary management is to prevent the patient from progressing from CKD to dialysis. And this is what we call as the conservative dietary management of CKD patient. And why is it relevant in India? Because the affordability, the kind of resources, the facilities which are there for the renal patients in India, it makes them very difficult to quickly go on to dialysis and continue their life on dialysis. So every effort needs to be put in by the nutrition expert to see to it that we prevent the progression of this progressive disease. The second important thing why a nutritionist becomes very important in CKD is because the nutritional status of a CKD patient is of prime concern. From our experience, we know before we even start talking about the restriction, I think I'm most worried to even start my conversation by assessing the nutritional status of the patient. Because the patients, when they reach the CKD stage, in any case are in a mind frame which has built a lot of anxiety, and besides the kind of restriction which are imposed on them, they start self restricting themselves, and of course there is a decrease in the appetite. So this whole matrix put together discourages the patient to eat. And what happens is that we see a sharp decline in the nutritional status. So as a nutritionist, I think the first responsibility of any nutritionist handling a renal nutrition patient is to look at, maintaining the nutritional status, and rather than restricting, encouraging the patient to eat. I think the whole conversation has to start with a very, very positive note. Now, when I say conversation on a positive note, we cannot forget that there are certain restrictions which are important for a CKD patient. But today's nutrition science has advanced so much that within a restricted matrix, a restricted framework, we can pick on foods, and give a lot of choices to the patient, quantify those things for them so that they are motivated, they are encouraged to eat, and they feel comfortable. Now, one of the things to make a person comfortable is, to bring the person closer to the region or tradition to which he or she has been used to throughout the life. And friends, let me tell you, I think as Indian nutritionists and dietitians, we should take pride in the fact that we have so much diversity of ethnicity, we have so much richness of heritage, which today's nutritionist has to explore and bring it to the table for the patient. And I think that's the premise in which we are making a conversation today, specifically using the traditional ethnic foods, to do that value addition in the menus of renal patients, especially CKD, where conservative dietary management becomes a very integral part, and how we can do it. I also wish to say that, we have just culminated the Nutrition Month 2021, and today is Gandhi Jayanti. And we started the Eat Right India movement 3 years back on Gandhi Jayanti. And if you look at the autobiography of Mahatma Gandhi, he always spoke about, portion with local. He always encouraged the use of seasonal, seasonal produce, seasonal vegetables, seasonal fruits. So moving from there, today we have IFCT, which is the Indian Food Composition Table, thanks to ICMR NIN, who have made this robust resource for us, which categorizes foods from different regions, familiar and unfamiliar foods, with detailed nutrition composition. Besides nutrient, it also gives us the non-nutrient composition today. So I think we have to start our efforts of converting this IFCT into different regional, local checklists of foods which can be customized, in renal diets. So what are renal diets? What are we talking about? We all know that renal diet, especially in CKD, needs to be restricted in protein, but yet with restriction of protein, we want to give calories to the patient because we want to maintain the nutritional status. We need to restrict on potassium, sodium, phosphorus, and fluids. Like, these are the most important verticals which we address in a CKD diet. So how is the traditional and ethnic foods doing the value addition? The traditional and ethnic foods are doing a value addition because in every food group which is listed in IFCT, we have, access to different variety of foods which are, calorie dense but low in protein. So whether it is rice against wheat, or whether it is the staple tubers which are used in those ethnic regions. So we need to look at these things from a scientific lens. So if we talk about protein, we know there is enough data to tell us that protein needs to be restricted. And we have Dr. Bharat Shah Zamrud's published paper to clearly explain that the moment we go ad libitum on protein, which is the concept which is followed in Western countries, I think in India, we are pushing the patient more quickly towards dialysis. And like I said in the beginning, the idea is to restrict the protein, prevent the progression rate of the CKD, and manage the patient on diet before the patient lands into dialysis. So I think we need to look at plant proteins, which are plenty in Indian heritage, and we need to pick on those plant proteins which are low in potassium, low in sodium, and low in phosphorus. Very difficult, not easy. But on a scale of 100, we can somewhere come to a figure and say that this is the optimal figure wherein I'm giving the protein and yet I'm not giving additional potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. And that's something which today's nutritionist can achieve. When we talk of vegetables and fruits, when we are saying we want to maintain the nutritional status of a CKD patient, vegetables and fruits have to be a part of their diet. But yes, again, with a caution that we have to limit the quantity of fruits, we have to limit the selection of fruits, we have to guide them which fruits to take. But again, the variety which they can pick can again be synchronized with what is available locally and regionally. The same applies to vegetables. We talk about leaching for potassium, but I think I've had many conversations with Zamrud, and I think the beginning of a conversation with a CKD patient is, the existing state of the patient, starting from the nutritional status to the biochemical parameters. And I think it's the biochemical parameter, it's the serum potassium levels, serum sodium levels, which guides the nutritionist. Do you really want to leach the vegetables? Do you really want to throw away the water of dals, or can you do it just by decreasing the quantity of dal? Can you do by just selecting a few vegetables which are low in sodium? Can you do something by decreasing the quantity? So I think these are all the discussions which we will see when our leaders from different groups of different regions of this country will make a presentation about what they have to say with regards to the regional menus of this country. And of course, fluid intake has to be restricted in in a CKD diet. And when you talk about fluid restriction, I know that when we counsel a patient, we say that you keep a bottle of water in front of you. Every time you have an extra cup of tea, you throw that much of water out, so that that much of hydration you have reduced for yourself. So when we even plan menus, I think we have to be cautious that how much of fluid is going into the menus, because in totality, we want to again look at the serum sodium levels, the fluid retention, the urine output. All these parameters are going to tell us what kind of fluid intake we can permit to the CKD patient. So what I'm really looking forward to in this pre-conference session, which I know that the renal nutrition special interest group leaders have taken the lead, and they in turn have connected with their colleagues of IDA from their region and have come together, brainstormed. I have witnessed the brainstorm meetings, which have happened in the past 15 to 20 days. So they've worked together as a team and are going to present to us the regional menu choices for CKD, and again within a framework of giving calories but restricting the protein to 40 grams, to restricting the sodium to 40 to 60 milliequivalents, restricting the potassium to 40 milliequivalents, restricting the phosphate to 1000 milligrams. So it is not easy, but if we start doing things scientifically, taking the richness of our traditional foods which are available, and I'm sorry to say, many times people are not even aware what all is available in their region. So I think this is one of the very big mandate of today's nutritionist, is to look right and left, to look at all the regional foods which are available, and get the maximum out of it. I would like to end by saying a few things that Indian Dietetic Association has worked, immensely in the recent past. to create a number of valuable resources for people at large. And they are all on the website. And I congratulate the scientific committee, the media committee, who have prepared PPTs, infographics, posters, leaflets. So they are all there on the IDA website. And second thing is, I want to congratulate my colleagues, Ritu Sudhakar and Miss Nilanjana, who took the lead to develop a book on traditional recipes coming from different regions, in this tenure. And, we have already consolidated that information. And I want to place on record the contribution of Miss Reema Rao, Geeta Santosh, Nazneen, who worked so hard to make the Indian traditional thali based on these traditional foods. My colleagues, my friends, it's a commitment I make on this forum that we will not allow this hard work to go unrecognized. So today we have a lot of support from the government. We will make sure that this heritage data, this treasure which we have created, we will polish it and we will come out as a publication of IDA, which can be used by the fraternity, by the patients, by the practicing physicians, and that would be a resource to use for connecting the nutrition fraternity with nephrologists and the clinicians. So I am really excited, and I'm looking forward to the presentations coming from different regions. And I must make again one more additional comment here, that Miss Gaurpriya Kopikar is a stalwart, is an authority in traditional eating. So, Gaurpriya, whatever we are going to publish, they are going to go through your eyes, for your critical evaluation of what we want to put forth. And of course, Salome, for her clinical dietetics experience. These senior people have to look at what we are doing and give their critical comments, and then only we can produce good resources which are of some standard and are used in the dietary care and dietary practice. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.